And you see why we can't depend on miracles, it says here, it's saying here, because Satan will exercise his power by working miracles. What kind of miracles does the Bible call it? Lying wonders. They're lies. In that same book you read from, Great Controversy, it says that we can't even trust our senses. Now, one of your senses is what you see. Remember Pharaoh? When Moses was before Pharaoh, he threw the rod down and it became a serpent. The magicians did the same thing, but it wasn't a real serpent. But to the naked eye, brothers and sisters, it appeared to be one. So closely will the counterfeit resemble the true that it will only be distinguished by the sacred scriptures. I'm going to come back to that, but it says here on Counsels on Health, page 526, because I asked the question, how many of you have a sanitarium? If you don't, it's no excuse. 526, Counsels on Health. It says, in the days of Christ, there were no sanitariums in the Holy Land. None. But wherever the great physician went, he carried with him the healing efficacy that was a cure for every disease, spiritual and physical. So even though there were no sanitariums, you know what Christ did? He brought the sanitarium to them. See, you and I should be walking sanitariums. We don't need a building. That's why we need a knowledge. We need to become intelligent in regard to disease, its cause, prevention, and cure. So that wherever we go, like it says here, but wherever the great physician went, he carried with him something.
So, Elder,
The healing efficacy that was a cure for every disease.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, where are you? Oh, go ahead.
So, the miracle piece, of course, the working miracles that it's really have people really thinking that that is from the God we serve, and we know it's not. The fact that we are,
All right, can you start over?
so the example of what we went through today at your table, from what we got last week from the gentleman, and me having that information that he gave, me moving with what I have to arm myself with being able to be ready at all times. My question still for you would be, when I'm faced with this, to have to assist someone, right? Me speaking first by prayer and then moving forth with whatever it is that the Holy Spirit tells me. How are we going to, or how would you tell me, second to prayer, of course, to position myself not to look witchcraftery in that sense? Because God still, he's a miracle worker. He will still do these things. How do we make ourselves not look witchcraftery? Because this thing is really going to look like that. People are going to be healed from, do you understand? Y'all understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, I'm going to answer. I'm going to go back to a statement that we saw during the message, but I'm going to read this again. I read from this, page 8, Call to Medical Evangelism and Health Education. I'm just going to read the bottom sentence. As the right hand of the third angel's message, God's method of treating disease. See, God has a method, and look, so does Satan. Satan will exercise his power by working miracles. Okay, now I'm going to go back to God's method. I'm going to show you this statement. And then you can I must have missed it. No, this is the time to ask questions. So feel free to ask questions, but I want to, your answer is, I just read part of it right here. As the right hand of the third angel's message, God's method of treating disease will open doors for the entrance of present truth. Now I want to get a little further into God's method of treating disease. It's just one statement.
I do have a follow-up question, but I'm just waiting.
Yes, just give me a moment. I probably went right past it and didn't know it. Right here. In case of sickness, the cause should be ascertained. Now, how do you ascertain the cause? How do you ascertain the cause of disease?
You'd have to interview the
Where
person.
do you go to ascertain the cause?
Yeah, you interview the
Right
person
there.
who's sick.
What are these called? The laws of health. That means that the person, I want to make this point. Unhealthful conditions should be changed, wrong habits corrected. Whose responsibility is that? The person that is sick. So that means they like she went to, they're going to tell you, oh, this isn't your fault. It's something out there. Something was flying around in the air and it landed in your nose and went down into your lungs, and now you have something that begins with a C. And you need to wear a mask and get a S. You get what I'm saying? See, it's not your fault. It's something out there. You're not taking responsibility that you violated these laws right here, and this is the result. The wages of sin is sickness, disease, and finally, death. And then nature is to be assisted. This is the recipe. Okay, let's go to the, you don't have a question anymore? Okay, go ahead.
I have a question. I have a comment like question because when I had my first son, I had him C-section. So what it did, the doctor did, well in Trinidad, they cut off my gallbladder without I even knowing I was under anesthetic. So they took off my gallbladder, but I'm a vegan. So what one of the medical missionary, Brother Luke said, people who have their gallbladder removed have to take vitamin B12 for the rest of their lives. What do you think about that? And also I have a question about autism. How, like you're talking about like how you will have to take like something from the environment caused you to get sick, because I deal with kids who are autistic. So what causes autism, since are they born with it or what, and that's my two questions. What do I have to do since my gallbladder is removed and they say like fats, like taking a lot of like eating nuts, for example, will make me, so tell me about what can I do?